Starring in a groundbreaking reality show, surviving a Juggalo attack, and hanging out with Nazis, Tila Tequila rose to fame in the mid-2000s, but her career has taken a back seat thanks to her chaotic personal life. Before she was Tila Tequila, the future reality TV star was known as Tien Nguyen, Singapore-born child of Vietnamese parents who'd immigrated to the U.S. As she recalled for Entertainment Weekly, her family wound up in Houston when she was an infant, living in a community run by Buddhists. She remembered that only blue and white clothing could be worn and compared the situation to a cult. Growing up in such a restrictive environment became stifling, and she embraced the concept of teenage rebellion with a vengeance, telling EW, "When I was 11, I did a lot of ecstasy. I used to rob houses, steal cars and stuff, and it just got worse in high school." She wrote on her blog about the time she was eventually sentenced to 6 months in juvenile detention. She soon realized she'd be in peril unless she aligned herself with one of the racially segregated gangs. Without a Vietnamese gang, she gravitated toward the Mexican gang, and she revealed that it was a member of that gang who gave her the nickname Tila Tequila. At 18, Tila was shopping in a Houston mall when she was approached by a modeling scout for Playboy. As she told IGN, "I never thought about modeling before, but Playboy was a bigger thing, so I did a test shoot." That led to an offer to model in Los Angeles. Soon after, she was working steadily when she began using the internet as a promotional vehicle. Posting steamy pics on her MySpace page proved to be a savvy move, attracting millions of followers and leading to her becoming the most popular person on the platform. That online fame led Tila to television, and she was cast on the VH1 reality series Surviving Nugent as one of the contestants competing in challenges cooked up by rock guitarist Ted Nugent. Interviewed by VH1, Tila jokingly claimed she was tricked into appearing on the show, revealing, "The casting people made it sound like some fantastic fantasy getaway at some exotic place or something, but I had no idea that it was what it was."
This ain't no Club Med. Come on, move it! This be Club Ted.
In 2007, Tila was hired by MTV to star in her own TV dating show, A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila. A tongue-in-cheek spin on The Bachelor, the show's groundbreaking twist came courtesy of her bisexuality.
I want to let you all know that I'm a bisexual.
The cast featured straight men and lesbians, all vying to win Tila's heart. As she told the Associated Press, getting romantic with someone while a camera films it all is not for the faint of heart. She admitted, "It was kind of weird at first. I thought, what am I doing here? Can I leave now? But once you get to know people, you become involved." A Shot at Love with Tila Tequila was among the 15 most watched cable shows on television. In fact, the first season's finale episode raked in 6.2 million viewers to become MTV's most watched episode ever. MTV then announced plans for Tila to return for a second season of A Shot at Love. When the show returned for a third season, however, Tila wasn't a part of it. She subsequently revealed that the reason she wasn't involved is because she'd signed a deal to star in her own reality series, which would follow her day-to-day activities. That show, however, never saw the light of day. The notion of a bisexual dating show in the 2000s drenched up controversy, raising hackles among America's more conservative elements. Among the critics were the controversial Parents Television Council, the morality-focused group that has targeted such TV favorites as Family Guy and South Park. Meanwhile, conservative religious group Focus on the Family likewise decried the show. All that pearl-clutching, however, paled in comparison to a review from the right-wing Culture and Media Institute's Robert Knight, who wrote, "There's nothing holy about MTV's latest attempt to seduce kids into orgiastic partying and homosexuality." Tila addressed the controversy in an entry posted on MySpace, writing, "The church should understand that they have a higher responsibility to teach the youth about unconditional love and how we can spread the love, not why being gay is a bad thing."
After I did the show, actually, a lot of people wrote me and said it really helped them.
An entirely different type of controversy engulfed Tila Tequila during her first season of MTV's A Shot at Love, when the New York Post claimed that she wasn't actually bisexual and was secretly dating a guy, as a source told the Post. Tila has had a boyfriend for over a year, and she's not really bi. She's made out with some girls in her past, as all girls have, but she is not bi at all. MTV responded by forging ahead with a second season of A Shot at Love. That season concluded with Tila choosing a woman, Christy Morgan, who then broke her heart by turning down her offer of romance. The truth finally came out in 2019 when Tila, who had since become a born-again Christian, confessed that her bisexuality was indeed as bogus as the Post reported.
I was never bisexual. I was never lesbian. I was never gay. It was all gay for pay.
As fans of Tila Tequila's MySpace posts already knew, she also fancied herself a wannabe pop star, posting her music on the site for fans to listen to. In 2006, she shared the single Yeah Man, and in 2007, she unveiled another single, I Love You, which was produced by rapper Lil Jon. Then in May 2010, she unveiled a new single, I Love My DJ, which she then followed with the release of her first EP, Welcome to the Dark Side. Despite the fame she'd gained from MTV, Tila was apparently unable to land a record deal with an established label. As a result, she released her music on her own label, Tila Tequila Records. She also attempted a bit of a rebrand, crediting her single and EP to her new moniker, Miss Tila. Speaking about her music to Entertainment Weekly in 2010, Tila said, I have my own original sound because I had released music a long time ago before I was famous. As part of her promotional push for her new EP and record label, Tila booked a gig performing at 2010's Gathering of the Juggalos, the annual music festival headlined by the extreme rap group Insane Clown Posse. As CNN reported, the group's hardcore fans, known as Juggalos, responded to her music by hurling rocks and bottles at her. The mob then chased her off the stage, forcing her to hide in a trailer. One of the show's performers, requesting anonymity in order to avoid the Juggalos' wrath, claimed that Tila was, quote, pretty cut up. After the ordeal, she subsequently threatened to sue. Andy Pellegrini, Insane Clown Posse's PR rep, issued a statement declaring the incident to be, quote, extremely unfortunate. However, he insisted the group bore no responsibility for their fans' actions, because she was warned that the Juggalos hated her. As he wrote in the statement, Ms. Tequila was made aware in advance of her unpopularity with many Juggalos at the gathering, but she insisted on performing. The statement went on to note that Tila had been paid in advance and had been told she didn't have to perform, and that if she did, she was free to exit the stage the moment she felt endangered. As soon as her show started, the crowd began to boo heavily and throw garbage. It was immediately obvious that she was not welcome. Her injuries were only sustained because of her refusal to leave the stage. Tila Tequila's journey took an unexpected twist in 2013 when she posted a since-deleted blog entry titled Why I Sympathize with Adolf Hitler Part 1 True History Revealed. She wrote, I used to think all of those horrible things about Hitler until I learned the truth about the war and what Hitler truly did, and he was not a bad person as they have painted him out to be, not even close. She continued by complaining that the Nazi despot had been demonized after his death and that she shared, quote, the same hopes and dreams as Hitler. Despite her admiration, she insisted there was nothing anti-Semitic about fangirling over Hitler, writing, I am not going to sit here and say that I hate Jewish people because that is not the case, nor is this about Jews. It is about Hitler and his side of the story that was never told since he was not the victor. To emphasize her fandom, she also posted a photo of herself on social media, holding a gun and sporting a swastika armband while striking a sexy pose in front of the notorious Auschwitz death camp. In 2015, Tila Tequila was cast on the UK version of Big Brother. Early on, however, the show issued a cryptic tweet announcing she'd been removed from the house. It later emerged that producers had just become aware of her controversial Hitler comments from 2013. As a spokesperson told Entertainment Tonight, the views Tila had expressed and permitted to remain uncorrected are totally unacceptable, and accordingly, her continued involvement in the program was untenable. Tila issued a statement backtracking from her earlier remarks, offering an array of excuses, writing, back in 2013, I made a statement about Hitler not being a bad person and immediately realized soon after that I had made a terrible mistake that would ultimately come back to haunt me. She further claimed that she'd lost touch with reality, had become addicted to drugs, experienced severe depression, and had attempted suicide. She added in her statement, it was absolutely the lowest point I had ever reached in my life, and today I am truly sorry to everyone that I may have hurt along my self-destructive path. It would be easy to assume that Tila Tequila's apology about her Hitler fandom was sincere, but that proved to not be the case. Less than a year later, her Twitter account was suspended when she tweeted a photo of herself and two men holding their arms outstretched in the notorious Nazi salute. The photo was taken after her appearance at an alt-right conference sponsored by white nationalists. According to the New York Daily News, the conference was held by the National Policy Institute, the creation of white nationalist Richard Spencer. Tila, noted the Southern Poverty Law Center, had become chummy with Spencer, lending her faded celebrity to his toxic cause. During her journey from bisexual reality TV star to Hitler-loving scandal magnate, Tila Tequila became a mom. In 2014, she welcomed her first child, Isabella. In an interview with Us Weekly ahead of her daughter's birth, she declared, in 2018, she announced she was pregnant again. Her second daughter, Annabelle, was born in September of that year. In 2016, TMZ reported that Isabella's father, Thomas Whitaker, went to court to seek full custody of their child, citing Tila's mental instability and alcohol consumption. That legal battle dragged out for years. In 2018, the Blast obtained court documents in which Whitaker cited such incidents as Tila costuming Isabella as Adolf Hitler in a since-deleted Instagram photo. He also claimed that she was barring him from seeing her daughter, and that she'd, quote, engaged in a history or pattern of child neglect. Tila responded by accusing Whitaker of being jealous because she and her husband had recently had a baby. She went on to declare that Jesus Christ himself said that Thomas would be, quote, punished for his crimes. In late 2019, the squabbling exes reached a custody agreement. Tila was ordered to refrain from ingesting any alcohol or controlled substances while she was with the child, while Whitaker was ordered to pay $217 per month in child support. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.